Hello and welcome. It is Saturday, the 5th day of August 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek and let's go over the Bitcoin price in silver. I think it should be XAGBTC. However, I think it's doesn't even really make much of a difference. The whole point is how many ounces of silver is one Bitcoin worth? And with the price of Bitcoin rising steadily north of 3,000, silver, of course, barely holding on to 16, makes the ratio over 201 right now as I'm doing this video. There was a time in early March where it was the opposite, where you would need multiple Bitcoins for 1 ounce of silver, 10 to 1. And this is when Bitcoin was up a decent amount from its times when it was trading in like 10, 20, 30 cents. This back at the start of March, it was about a couple bucks. Sorry for not having dates on the bottom. The charts on the next one, the shorter term charts will, and they'll also be in candlestick formations and a logarithmic price chart, because these things are just going insane to the upside. This top represents December, the end of 2014 Mt. Gox situation. So this thing goes from about a half up to about 16x gain, just like this. And then it does it again. And it's now been just a continuous rise to the upside. The rate of ascent since this lately is just creeping to a higher one within such. And as I see this thing should keep moving to the upside on the long-term time frame until we at least see the end of the silver manipulation. And that ain't happening anywhere in the next few months. And that's if it happens anytime soon. And as well, until this thing gets way out of hand. Maybe Bitcoin needs to get to 10, 12, 15,000 before this just goes way high and we're going to have a decent size move back lower. Because I think when the silver train rides higher, like it will with Ethereum and even Bitcoin movements, sick high gains, maybe because it will be traded in the free market in the future, or maybe because those in control are unable to keep control with how the free market is buying up the physical commodity. Situation like that. After this may already be over 1,000. I don't know how high it can go, but I would think this could go for a major straight down drop, as you would see silver going up like these cryptos did, 10, 12, 13x, maybe in only 2 or 3 months. And then it's unlikely Bitcoin will overperform that. In fact, it could go lower itself when you consider people getting out of Bitcoin to buy the physical commodity. And that is something that isn't that hard to do. In fact, it's really easy to do. You go to a reputable silver bullion dealer. I live in Canada, so silvergoldbull.ca works perfect for me. I put an order to buy Bitcoins, and then 4 to 5 business days later, it's in my physical possession. You can't beat that. That's what I like about it. And anyway, as this continues to ride, you'd expect it to move higher, but that's not going to stop me from every so often turning Bitcoins into silver. Let's now switch this to a 2-day time frame, as silver represents something which is no third-party risk when it's in your physical possession. And it's also an asset class that really, in my opinion, can't go down much at all, that also should be thrived in the somewhat near term, long term speaking, to have that significant gain that I'm talking about, where the ratio would head lower. When we look at this on the 2-day time frame, at the start of the year, this thing was trading below 50. And it would have a decent rally into March up to about 70. And then the significant move, Bitcoin went from about 900 to 2,700. Priced in silver, it went from about 50 up to about 170. Either way you look at it, it had about a 3 times gain. Now, during that time period, silver lost value on the dollar, so this went a little bit higher. I've been buying silver with Bitcoin now has been 4 times. The 5th time will be coming probably relatively soon. I did it first roughly at around this point in here somewhere. And that was just a situation because I found what would work out to a really good birthday gift for a birthday coming just a few weeks away. So that just made me just buy something really small because I didn't really want to buy much at this ratio, me knowing it was going higher. Also, the fact that I've been buying silver for years, that I really don't need to get too much, so I barely bought anything at all. And then as we went into June and the price action started to get into this 150 number, well, I bought again. And bought a little bit more, but what stayed the same was only buying a small percentage of my Bitcoin balance because I want to keep it alive in decent numbers. I don't want to take a large amount out. And I want to keep on growing it because when I think this is going to go much higher, I know the purchases later will become that as well, much larger again. Then I bought as we were ending into June, again at the 150 ratio. And then a third time I bought at the 150 ratio again. And I'll be buying basically 4,000 to 5,000 range. I'll be looking to buy again. And well, if it goes to 4,500, silver right now is at about 16 and change. Even at 17, that would be about 275 to 300 to 1 ratio. So that would be an area I'd be looking to sell. Once again, I'm only looking to take a small percentage of my bankroll. This is part of, I would look at it as, what's the best, profit taking. I guess that's the most simple word. As you increase your Bitcoin totals, you look at this like a Bitcoin. One, a casino game in which you can have a heavy advantage, and just an advantage is what you're looking for. But 2, it's probably a good idea, in my opinion, to always have some Bitcoin just in case. What happens, even if you don't like it or think it's going to do well, at least if you have a little bit and it does do well, you'll be glad that you do. But again, that's my strategy for turning Bitcoin into silver. Everyone else has, of course, their own different strategies of what they're doing. But I think this ratio is a very important one. I could show this in gold, but it wouldn't make much of a difference. And it's pretty much the same thing. But even still, back when Bitcoin was surging past 1,000 and 1,200, the talks was, oh my goodness, Bitcoin is worth more than silver. And then Bitcoin went way up to 2,900, fell back down to 1,850, which happened to represent gold's all-time high from years ago, not where gold's at now, no. And now with Bitcoin at around 3,300 and gold over 1,200, it's now going to be approaching within its ratio a 3 to 1 gold Bitcoin ratio, meaning you need 3 ounces of gold for 1 Bitcoin. That is just getting crazy, but I'd expect the exact same situation for that, the ratio to keep getting higher. And as the silver manipulation ends, you can pretty much assume that the gold one will end at the exact same time, and they'll both work in the free markets together. Expect they both work wild, but oh my goodness, silver goes up 8 times, 10 times. Gold goes up 3 times, 4 times. Still work in that manner, I would think. But then when those days happen, both the ratios, gold to Bitcoin and silver to Bitcoin, I think will reverse, but not until then. That's my prediction. Just that. Like I'd be predicting March Madness results or the World Series in baseball. And thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day.